Welcome again, Virgo. It's April 2021. Didici here with your monthly horoscope forecast. Very brief, but hopefully pertinent one. I'm going to animate this so you can see where these planets are moving. To those of you that are new, welcome. We note here the Sun and Venus in your 8th house. Now, the Sun is actually a planet of expense, and being in the 8th house, it actually works well. It neutralizes some of the negative effects of that planet, and Venus is ruling your 2nd house of income. That is not so good, being in this area, and also the fact that it is under the sunbeams, very near to the sun, can have created some problems for you financially in terms of your income. Notice the entry of Mercury there around the 3rd, 4th of April. That's going to bring your mind to banking matters, to all things hidden, submerged. The 8th house is a house of secrets, along with the 12th house. So we again see a link there of trying to unearth the things in your life associated with your finances. If you're in business, that lunar transit there on the 9th, moving into the nebulous Neptune orb, can create some difficulties in your communications. If it's just a purely personal relationship, then you may need to solve some of those matters of intimacy as shown by this 8th house. Now, the new moon takes place here also on the 12th, Virgo. There it is, just there. And so this is showing a whole new attitude that's developing regarding money, shared money, and that's possibly what this relationship transit was with the moon, bringing that energy into the 8th house, showing that you need to revamp the way that you do business, the way that you share the responsibility of finance in the home. And then, fortunately, you'll start to see these planets moving out of this area in the 2nd half of the month. Venus there around the 15th. Then the Sun will follow suit around the 20th, and Mercury after that. So you can see there's a distinct shift from this 8th house to the 9th house. The moon makes a conjunction to Mars, still in your 10th house, but that's also going to move out during the month of April. All that dynamic energy that you've been putting into your work, you've been pushing very, very hard. And fortunately, the moon here in the 11th house, Mercury moving to the 9th, then the Sun up to the 20th, is a nice combination of planets to basically give you the good karma that you've been looking for. You know, the efforts that you make often can be delayed, they're not forthcoming. And so at least the good news there, by around the 20th, 21st, is that you can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. There also on the 23rd, there's a very nice 23rd and 24th, a nice series of trine aspects that the moon makes from your sun sign to the Sun, Mercury, Uranus and Venus there. It moves to the 2nd house of finance on the 25th, and that makes a nice grand trine to Saturn and the node. So that's showing that these two workplaces and the income place are all working in harmony. You're working well with your co-workers, and you're in step with the cultural trends. This North node in the 10th house is also a very, very lucky placement for achievement in your work, those lifelong, long-cherished professional aspirations can be achieved through this North node, the karmic point in this 10th house. You've got to be careful of that too, though, because I've often noted in many horoscopes that that planet can give profusely and then take as profusely. So if you're seeing that money, that income, that status coming to you, then you should make provision for a rainy day and don't just take it all for granted. There's a full moon there around the 28th. That takes place in the 3rd house of negotiations, short journeys. And it's well worth mentioning the fact that the 9th house here, where all these planets are posited, has a lot to say about long journeys, educational pursuits, and generally just broadening and expanding your mind and your horizon. So this is a very positive development in the 2nd half of the month for you, and one that I think is going to give you, well, you're going to have a lot of choices there, that's for sure. But I always say that the best way to come to that sort of conclusion, if you're finding it difficult, is to eliminate the unnecessary. Whatever it is that you're not so hot, just get that out of the picture, then you start to get some clarity and some focus into what you're doing. That's it from me. I know it's brief, but we've got more for you at astrology.com.au. If you duck on over there, you can see the weeklies, the dailies and the yearlies. So this then becomes a contextual reference for where you're sort of going throughout the rest of the year. You can drop me a line here. A lot of people would prefer to have a more personal reading. Those readings I do in a Vedic format, and by all means subscribe. We love your subscriptions and we love having you back again. I'll see you next month. Bye bye for now.